G'day legends, and to celebrate Robert Whittaker versus Rainier Doretta being announced for the Fight Night main event of UFC Abu Dhabi, which on paper looks like it's going to be even better than UFC 318 and UFC 319. So at least we get some fun Fight Night cards that are actually stacked the whole way through this year. We are going to be doing a tier list today, and this tier list is going to be about the point fighters in the UFC. Who are some of the point fighters in the UFC, and how do they stack up upon one another in tier list form? You know, going from all the way at the top, the S tier, yeah? The Hall of Fame rage merchants. You know these guys. If you're a European fan, you know these guys very, very well. You've been up for 6 hours. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. The sun is coming up, and now Yusuf Zalal is just pitter-pattering and running around the apex to absolute dead silence, and you want to claw your goddamn eyes out. That is the sort of S tier level that we are looking at. And then a level below that is not quite rage-inducing, but still very pitter-patter rage merchant-esque. You know, like at least when Wonder Boy is in there and he is trying to point fight at range, at least he is throwing with enough heat to quite often break his own hand upon impact. Pitter-patter guys, they're not like that at all. They are quite literally just like pitter-patter. They are the sound of the rain upon the windowsill at night, lulling you into a sleep dream. Oh, it's just beautiful, isn't it? Then, of course, you've got the certified point fighters, which is just neither here nor there. Maybe Wonder Boy is a good example for that. Then you've got the tit for tats, the sort of take ones to give one. Yeah, this might be a Robert Whittaker-esque. He doesn't mind getting into a bit of a war. He doesn't mind getting bloodied up, cut open, so he might be tit for tat. Then you got these guys in there as we work our way down the tier list. They're going to be the ones that give you some solid bloody output. They're going in there to do a little bit of bloody damage. They actually want to hurt their opponent. They want to swing. That might be a better Wonder Boy one, actually, because he's going in there to break a hand or to break your face. When he is going to swing, he's going to bloody land. And then at the very bottom of the tier list is going to be pure bloody aggression, mate. Pure bloody aggression. Yeah, I'm a rangy kickboxer, but I'm a rangy kick your bloody head off boxer. That's what I am. Kick your bloody head off. That's pure aggression. So that's going to be the tier list that we're going to be doing today, boys. And here it is. And here it is. Welcome to the tier list. The first one up after just celebrating a recent loss. I know I said celebrating because he has been celebrating a recent loss. Is Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley, right? He's a point fighter. You know what I mean? He isn't a grappler. He's going in there. He's going to start swinging. He wants to be putting damage scores on the board. Damage-based scoring on the board is what Joaquin Buckley wants to do. He isn't going to be sitting behind a jab. Absolutely not. He doesn't know what a jab is. He knows a big meaty hook, a ferocious uppercut. He finds range with blasting a kick to the body. That's Joaquin Buckley's jab. Blasting a quick to the gut, mate. So Joaquin Buckley, he celebrated the loss to Kamaru Usman, and he should. He managed to work his way up enough to get in there with Kamaru Usman and win the last round off him. Maybe even the fourth round off him as well. He is nothing but pure bloody aggression, and we love old Joaquin Buckley for that. So good on you, mate. Next one up is going to be Leon Edwards. Edwards. This is a Hall of Fame rage merchant, if there ever was one. Leon Edwards is S-tier rage merchant. Not just because of his kickboxing, but because he's got such a MMA ego in there. He needs to prove that he can out-grapple Belal Muhammad instead of just getting the job done and actually doing some damage. If it wasn't for the Kamaru Usman headshot dead, if it wasn't for that moment, look at me now, his entire career would be decisions from range. I posit to you, dear sir, dear good listener of the MMA community, that Leon Edwards is a more boring fighter than Movsar Evloev. I put that to you. Hall of Fame rage-inducing. Absolutely. And this is a great way to start the tier list. You got Buckley down there. You got Leon Edwards up there. This is how it works, mate. This is the way that it should bloody be going. Corey Sanhagen, certified point fighter, tit for tat kind of fighter. Oh, there are times, mate. There are times, you know. There are times when you can think that Corey Sanhagen is there to actually put in some solid output. You know, TJ Dillashaw. The TJ Dillashaw fight with Corey Sanhagen. You know he's actually trying to win and hurt his opponent. right? And then his most recent fight with Davison Figueiredo. But this was in the grappling, you know? When it comes to the actual point fighting, when it comes to the let's stand at range, shot for shot, switch stances, you know? Rob Font was a lot of grappling. Umar Nurmagomedov, the fight. Seemed like Corey just let that one slip away from him because he was a pitter-patter extraordinaire. He was more worried about jabbing and switching stances than actually putting scores on the board. You know, this wasn't a solid output from Corey Sanhagen. And there's the meme that old Breakers and test tubes likes to read about war more than he actually does like to do war. I've got to put him here at certified point fighter, I think. I think that's where I've got to put him. Yeah, I've got to put him there. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Next one up, Alexander Rakic. Oh, this kills me, but Alexander Rakic is a pitter-patter extraordinaire. He's a pitter-patter extraordinaire. I know he likes to roll around the internet calling himself Serbian. That's what he's got on his fighter profile. He's not. Serbians know nothing but war. If there is a true Serbian, he's like Bogdan Guskov. Is that one Serbian? I think that one's... I don't think Bogdan... Who's that Serbian one? Dusko Todorovic. Get knocked out or be knocked out. Dusko Todorovic. That's a real Serbian. Not this Alexander Rakic. This is Austrian. This is hang around the outside, pitter-patter extraordinaire. I don't actually want to get involved in the war. I'll call myself a Serbian to get involved in the war. That's a little bit of World War I history there for you boys. Yes, World War I history. That's a little bit of that for you. Started off by the fake Serbs, who are actually Austrians, or the other way around. It doesn't matter. The point's getting away from me now. Point is, Alexander Rakic, he can only commit to a round, really. He really only got about a round in him. And then if that round doesn't put the opponent away, which it rarely does, the rest of it is a pitter-patter extraordinaire. And even then, Alexander Rakic, the most he's doing, let's be real here, is just bluing up the outside thigh. Like, his most dangerous weapons are the kicks. And, you know, you've got to be a real Khalil Roundtree and a one-of-one sort of a fight to snap somebody's leg with the kicks. Otherwise, you're just doing a whole lot of bruising and hurting. That's really what's going on there. So, Alexander Rakic, I'm putting him in the pitter-patter extraordinaire, and it breaks my bloody heart, mate. Breaks my bloody heart. Next one up is going to be MVP. MVP. MVP is a enigma wrapped in a question, thinking of a cloud. MVP is a highlight reel merchant, mate. MVP is a highlight reel merchant. What MVP does looks amazing when you're watching reels and TikToks and shorts. It looks bloody amazing when you condense it down into 30 seconds. But a fight goes for 15 minutes. And an MVP fight is like watching jump rope for 13 minutes and take 2 big swings and maybe some of them landing. That's MVP. Have you noticed how a lot of MVP's highlights from outside of the UFC are those couple of flying knees and then a whole lot of things he was doing after the fight to celebrate? The Pokeball, the Thanos glove. There's a lot of what's going on around the fight rather than the fight. And a couple of big knees up the middle make up pretty much all of MVP's Bellator highlights. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing, right? Because you're looking at MVP, you go, he's a solid output. This guy's doing pure aggression, solid output. But this, not for 15 minutes. Not for 15 minutes. For 2 minutes. For 2 minutes. But the other 13 minutes, he's skipping rope, brother. He's skipping rope. He's skipping rope worse than Alexander Rakic. At least Alexander Rakic is trying to tenderize that upper thigh. MVP is literally just darting in, trying to put that point on you and see if he can knock you down. Yeah, MVP is going right up there, mate. Right up there. Right up there. Right up there. Like a suppository. Next one. Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen. Oh, he wants to give you solid output. He wants to give you solid output, but Arnold Allen's body doesn't do what Arnold Allen's mind wants him to do. His hands are too weak. Every Arnold Allen fight slows down because I broke my hand, bruh. I broke my hand in the first round, bruh. But Arnold Allen, he's willing to give one to get one. You know what I mean? He's a real Calvin Cater. He is a very Calvin Cater-esque fighter. A little bit cleaner than Calvin Cater, and he's going to keep pushing forward. You know, Arnold Allen is going to sit on the outside and wait for shots to come to him. You know, he's not going to just sit back the entire time, which I guess would be certified point fighter. You know, Arnold Allen is going to get into it and actually press forward. So I want to put him in solid output. I think Arnold Allen's mind wants to put him in solid output, but Arnold Allen's body only allows him to be in tit for tat. That's what I think is going on there. You know, I think that's fair for Arnold Allen. Whereas, like I was saying before, a Wonder Boy is a solid output. You know, ever since the Woodley draw and then loss back in the day, Wonder Boy has looked at his career as this uphill battle. And even in the Kevin Holland fight that he had, the Buckley fight, Wonder Boy is trying to get points on the board. Wonder Boy knows what he is. He doesn't hide behind being a rangy karate fighter, you know, like Leon Edwards. He doesn't hide behind that looking for one shot like MVP. Wonder Boy is constantly trying to put things on the board, but do it in his own unique way. So I'm putting Wonder Boy as a solid output. That might be weird to people. I could see that one being very, very controversial. I could see this one annoying a lot of people. But I think Wonder Boy's constantly trying to push the action. I don't think he's constantly trying to run away. I think he's trying to run away a little bit, but it's like 50-50, you know what I mean? Whereas with like MVP, it's sort of 80-20 running away, 20% running in. But Wonder Boy really is 50. So you know what? 50-50 pretty much describes tit for tat, doesn't it? That's pretty much what a tit for tat is. That's about a 50-50 right there. Next one up, Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker, brother. Robert Whittaker, bouncy, karate style, but with a little bit more war and aggression than Wonder Boy. So I think I'm going to put Robert Whittaker in solid output. You know, jab, jab, big high head kick. Jab, jab, big high head kick. Maybe feints the takedown. Robert Whittaker is going to give you some solid output, but Robert Whittaker is going to get stuck into a like Mexi boxing exchange like a Justin Gaethje. You know what I mean? Robert Whittaker is going to stand at range and play the game with you, but he is going to be aggressing forward. You know, he's not looking to just be like a simple rangy point fighter and end up losing a decision to Alexander Volkov because you're a heavyweight that can do power, but you've been doing kickboxing your entire life, so you don't have the aggression to march forward like a Ciryl Gane does. This is the sort of vibe of it. Robert Whittaker is forward pressure and aggression. Justin Gaethje is absolute potato levels of aggression, you know, just up the center. Very like opposite of saying Ian Gary. Ian Gary is a pitter-patter extraordinaire. Now, he never used to be. I've got to move myself out of the way here. 1 second, boys. Ian Gary never used to be. Like, he didn't mind finishing people. But I feel like ever since he entered the rankings, he has been a pitter-patter extraordinaire. You know, even in that Carlos Prates fight, or like the shh, as Ian Gary likes to put on it, a bit of a shh. Even that Carlos Prates fight, like Ian Gary likes to say. It never felt like he was really going for the kill. It always felt like Ian Gary was quite happy to win a decision from the moment that fight started. Same thing with the MVP fight. Once MVP started landing on Ian Gary's face, and Ian Gary was saying, I put on an absolute striking masterclass. That's why I had to keep taking him down. Like, something happened to Ian Gary once he entered the rankings. And I think this is the same time he went vegan, but he has just decided that I'm here for decisions. Sorry, microphone. I'm here for decisions and I'm here for decision only. And he's going to win decisions while calling it a masterclass, which is absolutely insane to me, you know, and it's not going to win you any fans. What's going to win you fans is being Yuri Prohaska. The storm, the coming storm. You must move your head and close your eyes and swing. God, I love Yuri Prohaska. He is pure aggression. And it's so fitting that you have a Yuri Prohaska down here and an Alexander Rakic up there, because you saw what this tier list represents in one fight. Alexander Rakic, leg kicking from range, yeah? Pitter-patter extraordinaire, looking like he's hurting Yuri. But the second that round's over and it hasn't gone his way, aggression. Aggression comes out and wins the bloody day. That is what it is. Next one up, I'm going to give you another controversial one. I'm going to give you Shaun Ali. And I'm going to put him in certified point fighter. Now, I killed my own hype. Although the yarn fight was quite good. Here's the problem, right? All the way up until the yarn fight, Shaun O'Malley is give you a teep, give you a jab, dance around the inside, wait for you to get annoyed by him dancing around the inside, and then clock you with that counter. That counter doesn't knock you out, and then rain down some ground and pound. That was Shaun O'Malley's MO. Up until he clawed out what's-his-name's eyes. Perez? I want to say Perez. I'm not going to bother checking. I'm going off memory. I want to say Perez's eyes. But up until that moment, Shaun O'Malley was a certified point fighter, lucky to hunt down. I think if he's hunting down a TKO, that makes him a tit for tat. But he didn't want to be a tit for tat. He didn't want to get titted. He only wanted to do the tatting. And if you're going to play tit for tat, you got to accept that you're going to get titted. So I can't put him in tit because you're only getting titted if you're willing to tat. And Shaun wasn't willing to accept tits. He was only willing to tat. So I couldn't put him down there until the Yarn fight. Then when he got into the Yarn fight, he was willing to exchange. That is when real tit for tat O'Malley came out. In fact, he even bordered on being solid output until then. And then he even grew into solid output in the Cheeto fight, didn't he? He really grew into solid output in the Cheeto fight. He's had a real progression. And then he's on the back foot the entire Marab fight. So the last time we have seen him striking in a striking battle, he actually ended up finishing off at solid output. Wow, what a journey you've been on with me, Shaun O'Malley. What a journey you've been on. Starting off an absolute certified point fighter and moving all the way to solid output. We've come a long way, Shaun O'Malley. We've come a long bloody way. All right, who's next? Let's get a couple more. How long have I been going for? 20 minutes? Oh my God. All right, how long have I been going for? Let's do a... I'm going to move him up there. I'm going to move him up there. I'm going to do this to myself. I'm going to make myself smaller, like that. You tell me I'm wrong about Sean Strickland. You look me in the eyes and tell me I'm wrong about Sean Strickland. The Philly shell, there's a reason all of his fights go to a decision. There's a reason they're all pretty boring until the last couple of seconds of the last round. Every single fight seems like a close decision that Sean Strickland kind of lost, but did he kind of win? Well, when you tally up all the exact strikes, when we go to MMAstatistics.com and you really look at the strikes, shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Sean Strickland is a pitter-patter extraordinaire. He really, really is. He thinks it's war, and he even... This is the problem with tier lists, because you end up going down these tangents, and you want to just rage out, right? He even says himself in interviews, the fans, they don't appreciate seeing a chess match. Obviously, with some influencer in the gym, I'm going to go nuts. So he knows what he's doing. He knows that he's saying war to everybody, and in the gym, he's quite happy to punch on with influencers. But when it actually comes down to the fight, Sean bloody Strickland is going to be a pitter-patter chess match. Whenever you hear a fighter say it was a chess match, that means it was boring. That's what that means. That's code for, yeah, it was boring, wasn't it? And Sean Strickland knows exactly what he does. He's a pitter-patter extraordinaire. Next one up. Lerone Murphy, bro. There must be something about the accent. Hey, Lerone Murphy, you up here with me with Hall of Fame Rage Merchant? How you, bro? Yeah, look at me now, bro. I survived a gunshot, bro. They just have to play it safe. So, oh, my lamp's about to die. Something about their upbringing means they just have to play it safe. They've got to stay at range. They've got to put scores on the scoreboard. I swear to God, they have their coaches in the corner yelling out how many shots they've done. That's one shot, bruh. That's one shot. Go for two, bruh. That's two shots. You landed two shots, bruh. Go for three shots, bruh. That's it. Just jab, jab. Yep, 5 shots, bruh. You're winning on the scorecards, bruh. That's how they fight in their head. They're doing maths in their head while they're fighting. And it's rage-inducing. You know, it's even worse for Lerone Murphy because it's quite often happening at the Apex. Again, there's nothing like watching a rangy kickboxing fight after 6 hours of an average card at the Apex and nobody's in the audience and nobody's cheering. Nothing like it. Nothing like watching dead, silent point striking in the Apex. Oh, man. That's the kind of excitement that built this company. Jesus, they're horrible. They're horrible. These two are bloody horrible. These two are horrible. And Ciryl Adesanya used to be there during the run of his career. But I feel like Izzy's going out there now and contender Izzy is back. So I'm putting Izzy down here at a solid output. There was a time, you know, where he was tit for tat, you know, when he was trying to play it safe. But I've got to say, the Izzy that fought Dricus du Plessis was a solid output fighter. The Ciryl Adesanya that was trying to get the win over Alex Pereira, solid output fighter. The Ciryl Adesanya that was in there against Nasruddin Imavov, you know, he was falling into tit for tat, but he was also doing solid output as well. Like, Izzy started off up here with these boys in this rage inducement area, but Izzy actually has grown on me a little bit for solid output. And this is the journey of an Ciryl Adesanya fan, you know? Coming into Izzy's run when he was contender era, Izzy, so hyped, yeah? Then he knocks out Whittaker. Has the war with Kelvin. First he has the war with Kelvin Gastelum. That's best fight of all time. Then he sleeps Whittaker. Oh my God, Yoel Romero couldn't sleep Whittaker. How the fuck did he do that? Ah! Then it's the Yoel Romero fight. Then he loses to Blachowicz. Cannonier fight. Vettori fight. This is banging your head against the wall, asking the Lord when it's going to be over sort of run for Izzy. But now Izzy's back to contender, Izzy. You know? He got embarrassed by an even more pitter-patter extraordinaire, Sean Strickland. And ever since he was embarrassed by that guy, Izzy's back. Izzy's back and he's trying to get gold again. And he's even turned into one of us online. One of the haters. He hates Buckley too down there. This is the thing, Izzy. Once you actually start getting some testosterone and some aggression back, you turn into a hater. You start watching MMA on the couch going, this is shit. I hate this. Why is this shit? Be better. Have more fun. I want to have fun. Boo. This is what happens, Izzy. You start enjoying your life a little bit when you feel the testosterone flowing through your body. So Izzy has upgraded from a Hall of Fame rage merchant all the way down to solid output. But I think that'll do us for the night, boys. This is my UFC Point Fighters tier list. It's something that we can pick up on the live streams, because on the live streams, when I try and go live at least 3 times a week, but I've been pretty regular lately, we do fun things like this. Tier lists, conversations, debates, all that kind of stuff. So if this is your first time here, then g'day and welcome. My name is Dougie and I make an MMA video every day of the week. And like I said, I try and go live at least 3 times a week where we do stuff like this. You want to know when all that happens, you hit the subscription button down there as well as the notification bell. Let me know how much of this I screwed up. Probably a lot, but that's okay. Let me know about how much of it I screwed up down there in the comments. And if you can't be bothered commenting, just leave a like. That's absolutely great. And if you're one of the paying members of the channel, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. That's why your names are up on the next screen. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video. You guys have a good one. It's the weekend! You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you for UFC Azerbaijan. And yeah, see you in the next one. Goodbye.